Welcome to High History, the show where we get lifted while digging deep into the past. This isn't your high school textbook history. No dusty dates, no boring lectures. We're talking the wild, the weird, and the what the hell really happened moments that shaped our world.
From revolutions to renaissance, from ancient queens to unsung geniuses, we bring you the stories that matter with a twist of comedy, culture, and community. So spark your curiosity and maybe something else. Lean back and let's get into some high history.
Welcome to High History. I'm Nick, your Liddy librarian, the flame and the fact checker.
And I'm Danny, your reefer ref, packing red and yellow, red and yellow.
Red and yellow. And my name is Mo. I am the timekeeper, first of her name.
Well, welcome to High History. On this week's episode, we are going to be talking about the Cadaver Synod. And if you don't know what a synod is, it is an assembly of the clergy.
Ooh, old men in robes.
Old men in robes. So basically,
come on, altar boys. Oh shit, sorry.
Damn, Gina, already coming out with the hard hitters.
I know, right?
Blazing. Okay. So what this is, in 897 AD, a pope was dug up, dressed in robes, and put on trial.
Exhumed? They exhumed him.
First off, how long was he dead? Before they dug him up.
Just let this sink in. They exhumed a pope.
How did they get approval to exhume the most holy body of all
I will get there. This man was already dead 7 to 9 months, but I'll get into that.
7 to 9 months. Is there anything even on that's bones, right?
I mean, it was a fleshy mess.
Ew.
Yeah. He was a flesh nest monster.
I want to know the events that allowed this to happen.
Right, exactly.
He was partially fleshed. Okay.
Tell me how this was thought through.
Honestly, historians have basically dismissed this spectacle as an act of madness or petty revenge, but
I don't see how it can be anything else.
A lot of recent research suggests that the trial was far more calculated and deeply rooted in political and religious crisis because of the times.
Okay, so 800 AD.
This 897 AD, so right before 900 AD.
Okay, but isn't this still around the time where they were just now rewriting their third version of the Bible?
I think we're probably past the third version because this is the setup of the Holy Roman Empire.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a preview, if you will. So 890. Basically, it's a world where kings fought constantly. Religion ruled everything, and including politics, right? So Europe at the time, super broken puzzle of power. Charlemagne, his empire had unified most of Europe at one point, but it has collapsed into pieces. So think of Game of Thrones, but way worse hygiene and a lot of Latin.
Worse hygiene?
Yeah, way worse hygiene. Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, is this the era of Vikings though? And this is why they were everybody.
100%. We're in Viking. We're in time Viking. Plundering. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So West Francia, which is early France.
Yep.
It's being ruled by very weak kings, and unfortunately, the nobles have a majority of the power.
Yeah.
And Viking raids are causing a huge problem here, right?
These are the people that believed in the pure blood magic.
East Francia, which is early Germany, is fragmented at the moment, but it's actually growing stronger. And this will eventually become the seat of the Holy Roman Empire. Italy, where our story is going to take place, where our devious tale begins. It's
men in robes.
It's in fucking chaos. It's a shit show. It's a hot mess. There's different factions fighting to take control of the crown, and again, the nobility or the noble families, the wealthier they are, the more power they have. Think of what's that show on HBO, The Borgias?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that exactly. Basically, 100% that.
Okay.
Dang.
So Rome is basically a holy city that is a political battlefield.
Always has been.
Yeah.
Always will.
Kind of sounds similar to.
Yeah, powerful families are manipulating who becomes pope and who becomes emperor.
Weird.
And religion does not equal faith; it equals power, money, and control. So no faith here.
It's almost like you can literally do whatever you want in this world because as long as you can buy your way into heaven,
Right.
all will be forgiven.
Okay, if you insist.
That's what it feels like.
To be clear, that is not my belief, but you do you, boo boo.
Well, I mean, don't they think that
No, they
nobody
do.
is
They
closer
absolutely
to God, because of a number of different reasons, whether it's wealth or
right. Yeah,
what
that is that.
according to or whatever.
Absolutely, that is a thing.
Yeah.
That is definitely the belief back then. I still think that there is some validity to that belief today, but that's not me attacking any religion. That's just my opinion, neither here nor there. I dissent. Just kidding. Moving right along. So we obviously talked about the Vikings. They're still a huge problem. They're raiding all parts of Europe, and actually,
the heathens.
At this point, they're starting to settle in parts of we know today as northern England and France.
Yeah.
So picture just those long ships, burning villages, and constant fear along the coastlines. Because, the Vikings, they're doing their Viking shit, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other side Eastern Europe, Western Europe side. Yes. So Western Europe's a freaking hot mess, right? Eastern Europe is the Byzantine Empire.
That's where all the trade is, right?
Well, they're very wealthy.
Merchants.
They're super organized. They very much live in the Roman culture. Their capital is still Constantinople. Yeah, and they actually consider themselves the real Rome because they have their shiitake mushrooms together while the other hot mess is just imploding. Yeah. And then we have the Islamic world at the same time. So Al-Andalus, which is now Spain, Northern Africa, and parts of the Middle East. They are absolutely advanced and thriving. I mean, this is where we're getting most of the culture from. This is where Rome gets its culture from. They got it from the Egyptians.
Fun fact about Andalusia, Spain, and the Muslims. One of the most famous pirate bitches was a princess or a high lady from Spain whose family was Muslim and got kicked out of Portugal. And she went to Morocco, and she was the one that ended up marrying the Sultan that he marched up to go to her for the wedding.
Oh, that's right. And she's like,
she literally dominated. She dominated the entire Mediterranean with her pirate fleet.
Amazing.
Well, that part of the world during this time is like absolutely thriving, but they're thriving intellectually. So they have advances in science, medicine, math. Yeah. So while Europe is Game of Thronesing over there, the Middle East is preserving and expanding knowledge.
Is it weird that the expansion of knowledge creates thriving markets and Game of Thrones style creates
depravity and insanity? No, it's not surprising at all.
Okay, continue, please.
So England, which is what we call England now,
the UK.
Yeah. So where the Saxons lived and the Vikings took over, it's
all these came together, right? Because Uhtred of Bebbanbaugh.
Yeah. So it's like a floating island, just basically holding its jingle balls together.
Yeah. Scotland up there at the top, and Ireland is a detached year.
You got the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms; they're still existing. King Alfred's out there, defending against the Vikings.
Yep.
And at this point in time, England is absolutely not unified as a country, right?
No.
So
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Vikings.
So think around like 890 AD. Life is basically it's medieval times. It's a shit show. Crowded and dirty, loud cities with animals, mud and waste in the streets.
They toss their shit at you.
Yeah. Churches were ginormous. They were intimidating. They were powerful. That's where all the money was. And obviously medicine was questionable at best. But they were so involved in the church that they wholeheartedly believed that God controlled everything. Right? Sin had a very real consequence in the world. And the supernatural was really real. So relics, curses, divine punishment, that all really, really mattered.
Okay.
So now you have the visual, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go into this. So let's blaze on. Okay. So Formosus. This is the main man event of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to find early records on him because medieval times of it all, Yeah. And his
what? Story really, writing things down.
I mean, they did, but it depends on who you were, right?
And who had access to knowledge to do that.
Oh, the scribes, rich people, yeah, monks. Monks wrote a lot too. It's pretty difficult to find any early records of him, but it's widely believed that he was probably a native to Rome and born somewhere around 816 AD.
Okay, you're saying that monks were writers. Are you saying the church controlled who had access to literature?
I didn't say that. Those words never came out of my mouth. I just said monks were writers.
Interesting. I did make that leap.
Yeah.
I kind of like dove off that springboard into the ocean.
You didn't even check your boundaries and look for sharks.
I feel like there are many levels, though, that connect that thought.
Okay.
Maybe if I'm a master Lego builder, I can build a water slide on my way down.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. They assume he was born around 816 because on his deathbed, this dude named Vulgarius, he said,
Vulgarius,
air quotes, he was an old man of 80. I don't know how he got that number, but
yeah, bro lived for a long time at that time.
That's what I said. That's what I said. And wait till you hear what kind of life he lived, because like I wouldn't be pushing 80 if I was doing all this shit. But yeah, so I don't know how they gathered that he was 80. I'm just guessing this Vulgarius dude said, "Oh, he looks like he's 80." I mean, we don't know. So we don't, to me. Yeah, questionable. So we don't know. But the earliest records of Formosus, his papacy, they actually come out of 864 AD.
So he was a pope.
Eventually, yes.
Okay, sir was a pope. Gotcha. So
the first records of him come out when Nicholas I nominated Formosus as Cardinal Bishop of Porto in that year, 864. Porto is a city that's right outside of Rome. It's very close to Rome. So he's like already almost in the zone of, the whole.
He's like in the
Catholicism of it all. Yeah, he's like almost next to Mecca. So he's living his best life as this cardinal bishop, right?
You got to be born into that,
Yeah.
No, not a lot of.
Or handpicked.
Yeah, it's handpicked. The Pope picks them. So
here, come and do this internship over here.
Yeah, you got to be born into some kind of
in the zip code vicinity. Yeah,
some kind of circle that would see the Pope. Or you have a lot of money.
Right.
But here we are.
I can always buy anything.
Freedom. Lies. Yes, correct. Corruption. What? Okay, sorry, I digress. So Formosus, highly respectable dude. He's extremely capable. He's deeply involved in politics, which meant he had a lot of enemies, naturally. Mm-hmm. Not a really safe combo in 9th century Rome. So his first position was the Bishop of Porto. He was often sent on important missions that went abroad. So that included Bulgaria, France, and people just freaking loved him. They just loved him. And the Bulgarians even wanted him as their archbishop, which immediately caused turmoil in Rome.
Why? I'd be like, look, more people love us.
Right.
No, because the Pope's like, this man's getting too much power. Well, who the fuck does he think he is?
He's no longer a puppet for control.
Okay, yeah.
Pinocchio's come to life, y'all.
Exactly. So this is basically how shiitake went a-blazing sideways. First of all, there was a canon law at the time from the church prohibiting the seeking of higher offices. So bishops are basically not supposed to campaign, loose air quotes, for or seek out a transfer to a more prestigious position because
be handpicked instead of elected.
And that's a breach of obedience, right? All appointments and such are made by the Pope himself. Like the Pope has the power. Exactly.
Because I have been wholly appointed.
I have been wholly appointed.
Because I said so.
Christ our Lord.
Yeah, because I said so. Exactly. That's how that goes. No fucking lie. That is how that goes. And tell me otherwise. Prove me wrong. But I know I'm right.
Do you think that some of them actually believed it though?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure they believed it.
I think that they.
I have this soul
Probably up until their death
power to direct. Like it has been divinely thrust upon me.
Why
to
else would I
wield
be
this
rich?
power?
Why else would I have more money than everybody else? That's because
Exactly.
God has blessed me.
God has
Because
blessed
I
me.
am closer to Him, and I am divinely granted that.
And that's how I got this position. And that's why I'm talking to God now. Hello. Hello.
Closer to him in the family tree.
Yeah.
One tree.
Okay. Well, anyway, so you got Formosus out there, you know, getting popular, being considered for higher roles. Like there are other members of churches that are telling him he should be in a higher role. Probably, like more than likely, he was maneuvering politically, but there are no records because, you know, everybody be lying back then. All you had to do is get your friend to have your back and say, yeah, that bitch did that. And then you're both going to go down, you know?
Yeah, that's true. There were a lot of snitches at that time.
Yeah.
It's so true. It is like he said, she said.
Yeah. So when I was doing the research for this, what kept popping into my head was the Borgias. Am I saying that right? Is it Borgias? Borgias.
But
one of them became the cardinal. And then I also think of Three Musketeers, where they were the musketeers for France, and the freaking and the cardinal was so involved in freaking every aspect. And then Enclave. If you guys have never seen that, that's how they chose the next pope. Where they get locked in.
A great movie, and another great movie is The Three Musketeers.
Also a great movie. I think even the series is great. So if you guys have time,
in the Iron Mask,
do it. Oh yeah, that too. Also epic.
Oh, I love that movie.
So good. Okay. So yeah, obviously he's getting popular, you know, out there doing his thing, meeting with the people, and it was making people really freaking nervous. The Pope at the time was Pope John the Eighth. He was extremely, extremely powerful. He was very politically active because obviously that's what they do. They're the ones who basically, they're loose air quotes, their divine right is to crown the emperor, but politically they actually end up choosing the emperor
to crown the emperor, their divine right.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of?
Divine right, loose air quotes.
In the Wheel of Time, when the sorceresses, the Aes Sedai, they want to capture the dragon to manipulate him and bend him to the knee. So this is like, honestly, if the Pope really is reincarnation and some descendant of Jesus to be able to have this divine connection, right? Wholly connected, wouldn't he be more powerful than the rest of us humans?
I mean, I guess. You're right. When you're right, you're right. So obviously he was extremely politically active. He was paranoid, but not without reason, obviously, because once you're at the top, the only place you can go is down, right?
Targets everywhere.
And most of all, he just really didn't trust Formosus, and that's because everyone loved him. Other than that, I'll give you a few more reasons. Formosus wasn't just like a sit back and be quiet kind of bishop. He was a boots on the ground, gonna do what he has to do. He was always running these diplomatic missions.
So he was doing actual work.
Yes. He was highly respected, and he was really popular internationally. So he didn't just have Rome's ear, he had like other countries under his belt, right?
Effective Pope.
Yeah, he was known well beyond Rome. And the biggest red flag, as I said earlier, the Bulgarians wanted him as their archbishop, which was a BFD. It was a BFD to John VIII. He was like, shut it down. So to Pope John VIII,
shut it down. I gotta win this popularity contest.
Exactly.
Prince
He was
Charming
like,
and Fairy Godmother and Shrek rigging the whole thing.
Shut it down. He's like, this guy is out here.
More beautiful.
I don't know what either of these two look like because the 897 of it all. I mean, I'm sure we could get some sketches, but I can't imagine either of them were like, Prince Charmingly looking.
Right.
But yeah, John.
They were though.
They could have been. Honestly, they could have been. But Formosus, I mean, he was out there like haggling in the streets with people. He got all of their love and commitment. So he might have been.
Charming and good looks are usually a part of alluring and persuading people. And they tend to be a little bit more strong with crowds.
Rabbit hole and side note, they call this the Harding effect. What was the president?
Oh, the red herring effect.
Well, Harding. What is his name? What was our president's name?
William Harding.
William Harding.
William Harding. I can't remember.
I think it was
Warren G. Harding.
Warren G. Harding. Okay, so it's called the Warren Harding effect. So it's the tall people that are tall and good looking are more likely to get into positions of some kind of power because they are tall and good looking. Like that is the only reason he got elected as president. He was the worst president. Anyway,
what we call
dig down that rabbit hole.
Social bias for height. A programmed preference.
Yeah, so go down that rabbit hole. It's a fun one. It's called the Warren Harding effect.
That is good. Yeah.
I digress. Anyway,
okay, tell us more about this wonderful Pope and why he was exhumed.
He was pissed. Pope John VIII. He was pissed. He was like, this guy's getting all of this freaking influence, and he's trying to make a power move. Mm-hmm. And remember, at this time, popularity for anyone is very freaking threatening.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, because they just assume that you're breaking rules to get where you're trying to get.
Because that's what they did. Because you know what? This world is just a whole fishbowl of projections.
It is. And honestly, if the Pope believed you were a threat, that belief could be your conviction. And for Formosus, that was absolutely the case, right? So Pope John VIII formally accuses, like straight up, yo, Formosus, I'm accusing you of treason. No, not treason. I'm just kidding.
He's a witch.
Burn him, basically. So he was accused of ambition for the papacy.
Okay. If only they would capture all the men with ambition.
Yeah, if only. Conspiring to become the Pope, as in he was trying to usurp the throne.
Okay.
Abandoning his bishopric, which that was the canon law. You are not allowed to leave your position for a different position. And causing political instability, which they accused him of conspiring against King Charles the Bald, who was just crowned emperor.
I'll bet you.
But
there's was just jealous because he had no hair.
Yeah.
But there's actually no proof that he was conspiring against the Bald.
He was probably just out there like Mom Donnie doing his job.
Yeah, I think he was.
Now.
At this point in time, like from what I could pull from the historical text, at this point in time, I don't think there was conspiring.
Okay.
And I think that the reason he got accused of conspiring politically is because he was sent on a mission, and he was literally just there with a bunch of clergymen that got arrested. So I think he was kind of swooped into this, but
the trap.
The Pope didn't really need a reason to condemn you. Like he just needed a couple witnesses to say, "Oh yeah, I believe
get no trial."
He got it. So they don't do trials. They're called synods.
No, weird that the church doesn't do a trial.
Assembly of the clergy, and obviously the Pope does not need evidence.
A trial.
Or any of that. Right?
Just knows.
He just knows.
The Lord told me.
Jesus told me. Yeah. in 876, so this is July of 876, there was another synod at Santa Maria Rotunda, and this basically led to Formosus being excommunicated. He was forced he was forced into exile, and he was stripped of his position. It was a full religious takedown. So he wasn't even allowed to practice anything to do with his position.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know you've been effective, is you're stripping power away.
Right.
From the church.
Yeah. Like I said, he didn't need evidence. He just needed backing. So he just had a few people say, yeah, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And basically Pope John VIII knew that Formosus had too much support, and he had very real potential to become the next pope.
So he was basically Maximus Decimus.
And he also had the ability to shift alliances because he had ties in other countries, right? So that was like plenty of reason for John to say, we out. TKO, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we jump to 1882. And Formosus is out there in exile, just living his exile life. The wild thing about this whole story is who he was living with at the time. He lived in the court of Guy III of Spoleto. Now, the Spoletos are a freaking Italian family. Mm-hmm. A lot of them live in Rome, but these guys had to live outside of Rome because he wasn't allowed in Rome.
I mean, they're right next to each other.
But the Spoleto family was one of those really big powerhouses, and they were looking to snatch the throne, right? They had all the money and influence. So this is who Formosus was shacking up with in exile. And Pope John VIII was being murdered at the time.
Okay, but were they just roommates or were they roommates?
No, they were just roommates, not extracurricular roommates.
Okay, because also Rome looked at that differently than the church looked at that.
They sure did. And here we are, still persecuting people.
Weird.
So at that time, same time, Pope John VIII was actually being murdered.
No.
Yeah, because people are like, WTF, this guy was rad and you're a dick and we don't like you. So his clergy actually poisoned him, but I don't know, it doesn't say if it was like happening too slow or they just wanted to make a mess of things. So he ended up actually getting hammered to death because the poison didn't work all the way. This is not funny. Again, awkward. This is why I'm laughing.
Oh my gosh.
This is so wild.
It's not off all the way, you guys. Do it again.
Yeah, it's trifling. So they poisoned him,
horrible.
and I don't know if it didn't work or it just wasn't fast enough. So then he ended up getting hammered to death.
Damn.
Immediate power vacuum. Because he was a freaking pope, right?
Caesared him.
They did 100%. Yes.
Julius Caesar. That's wild. Can you imagine how hated as a pope you have to be?
Right.
Can you imagine how hated of a president you have to be?
I mean, but he wasn't a president. He was an emperor.
Well, how many people showed up to those No Kings marches last time?
Oh, shit.
Biggest turnout in history.
Yeah.
8 million?
Yeah. Can you imagine how many people have
also, though? So I've been reading A People's History to the United States by Howard Zinn, and that's a mind fuck of a book. But the history of protesting in this country is insanely fucking violent.
It is. Yes.
That's why every time people think about it, and they're like, I'm like, protesting is literally disruption. It's supposed to be like, an inconvenience.
Except for when they started finding nonviolent ways, which is why I think MLK based his whole platform on this, like the sit-in. Do you know what they did? The sit-in was the most successful nonviolent initial protest in our history. And as soon as the government found out that that was successful, they passed a statute through Congress that says sit-in is not a viable option under the new National Labor Relations Board Act.
Yep.
So they instituted
labor relations,
instituted a law that said, okay, you will recognize unions, but if you strike, you have to strike with the union and you can never do a sit-in. That's how impactful it was.
Our government.
And, just letting people hose you down.
Yeah.
And taking it.
Or tear gas.
All right. So we're not even at the worst part of this yet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get back in.
Okay.
Please.
So obviously after John VIII was murked,
Murked.
As the kids would say, he was yeeted. There was 3 rapid succession popes. So it's hard to say who actually made the first steps, but I'm pretty sure from historical record it was Marinus I. He becomes pope in 882, and more than likely he was the one that started this process. So he lifted Formosus's excommunication and eventually reinstated him as Bishop of Porto. And restored him in the church. But again, there was 3 rapid successions of popes. So it could have been a combination of all 3 of those. It's just really hard to track down
which one did it.
Yeah. Or who started it, or all 3 of them might have, So this is basically because John VIII had a lot of enemies, and now all of his enemies are the ones that are in charge. So this helps with political repositioning because it's basically rejecting his legacy. So it helps Formosus get back in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he comes back swinging, like no rest for the wicked. He immediately rebuilds his influence, regains all of his respect, and he reenters the inner circle of church politics. Remember, he's very smart, diplomatic, capable. People loved him.
He was a handsome, charming young man.
Yes.
Man.
So he was pretty quickly. Remember, what's his nuts? John VIII died in 882. Formosus becomes pope in 891, which is wild because he was.
How did he become pope?
He got elected. They chose him in an enclave. He was excommunicated. He was in exile. He was accused of ambition. He broke canon law. And they just put it back in. And
we've decided you're good to go now.
Yeah. He got what does Donald Trump do to people? They're terrible.
Pardon.
Yeah, he's got pardoned. But he
pardon, my lord.
It was a pardon. But he wasn't a bad dude, But now he's a freaking pope.
Good to know that pardons work for good guys also.
Yeah. Right. And realistically, he was chosen by the enclave because he was so experienced. He was very politically savvy, and he already had those international connections. And Italy was chaos at this time, so they really needed to rebuild and restructure. But he still had mad enemies, let's be real here. John the VIII had hater friends that came along with him into his hatership,
Yeah, because just because you take out the head of the snake doesn't mean the rest of the body supported the snake isn't still there, right? Like, what happened after Germany fell? You think everyone just disappeared?
No. Well, I mean, the bad dudes did. They ran like cockroaches.
They ran to Argentina.
Yeah.
But how many just disappeared and blended back into civilization?
They got captured, yeah. So 890s, where he's a pope now, right? They are very tumultuous politically. The Spoleto family, remember I mentioned them earlier? That's who Formosus was living with in exile. Mm-hmm. They were now the most politically influential family in Italy. Obviously, the church. So he's pope. He has to counter that power because that power that the family holds is testing the strength of the papal authority.
Because of the family, because they were roommates?
Not because of their roommates, just because they have so much power politically, because they have so much money. And the Spoletos were just a super influential family. And because he's the Pope, he has to protect the church. So to counter the power and strengthen the papal authority against them and other powerful families, he pursued alliances against the Spoletos. So he was looking for other families or other people to become emperor because he didn't want this major faction in Italy to break down the papal authority. Obviously, bad news. They felt uber betrayed.
Shocker, right?
Shocker, because he lived with them in exile. There's kind of dodgy records, but so there's kind of a breakdown on what really happens. We're not sure if he actually crowned this guy or he convinced him to take on Rome. But eventually what happens is Pope Formosus crowned Arnulf of Carinthia as the Holy Roman Emperor.
Which is their divine right to do, we've already established.
Right. This is divine right. Instead of Lambert of the Spoletos, which was the biggest rival.
Sorry, but that's like choosing someone else as your best man instead of your brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine the shame that man felt.
So this was February 22nd of 896 when he crowned Arnulf, right?
Oh, right after Valentine's Day too.
Yeah, this is a crack in the whole system. It was basically a big FU to one of the most powerful families in Italy. It was a public rejection and a loss of legitimacy. So they were effing pissed. Arnulf, the dude that he's crowning emperor, he marches on Italy because although he is crowned emperor, he doesn't have any of his troops in the area, and Italy is the seat of power, so he needs to take it over, right?
Where are they marching from, though?
The surrounding areas. They're all right there. He's in Porto, which is the next city over.
Okay.
So he goes to Italy, he takes Rome, he gets crowned, and then immediately after that, he suffers a stroke, which partially paralyzes him.
Oh, shit. That's a lot of stress to do all that on behalf of the Holy Roman Pope.
But so he's unable to actually continue his campaign, and he actually has to pull out of Italy. So he immediately loses that power, right? And the Spoletos are like, fuck you, we're coming in. But he's still emperor. He's having trouble keeping his claim as emperor.
Yeah.
So what happens, unfortunately, is Lambert of Spoleto actually does regain control of his faction in Rome, and he takes back Italy.
Well, because literally Rome is inside of Italy, so it can't be that hard.
Right. But like castle at the time, this is what's different between a castle and a manor house. Castles were designed to protect the seat of power, right? So once you take the castle, you take the kingdom, essentially. Yeah. So this is what they were going for.
Yeah.
But anyway, on April 4th, essentially like 6 weeks after the coronation, Formosus dies. And again, we think he's in his 80s, right?
Right.
So they say he's in his 80s, but the autopsy, remember, medicine is kind of like a joke at best. Autopsies say he could have either been poisoned or it could have been a stroke.
Okay, but also, side note, do you know why medicine was a joke at that time? Is because they persecuted the native and natural healers as witches and heretics and destroyed a whole study of psychopharmacology.
Yeah.
Because they were helping people get better.
Yeah, they were.
Civilization.
But they were able to determine that, unfortunately, he died in a lot of pain. So that's why they're saying it was either a stroke or poison. But he was in his 80s, so he did live a very full life for the, medieval times of it all.
Sounds like good energy to me.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is really where the smoke hits the fan, so to speak.
Has it yet? He died. Does he come back? Is this
he comes back. Okay.
Oh my gosh. It's Easter. It's almost Easter. I knew you were going to bring something like this.
This is great. This is good timing. Pope Boniface VI replaced Formosus, but he only lasted 2 weeks because he immediately died, most likely of gout. So his replacement...
They picked them really well.
I know. This gnarly pope named Pope Stephen VI was a very well-known member of the Spoletan faction. So he was working with Formosus' rivals, right?
Okay.
So what we have at the moment is Formosus, he rejected the Spoletan ruler. He crowns Arnulf as emperor. Arnulf gets paralyzed, leaves Italy. He loses power. Then he dies. So Lambert of Spoleto regains power and takes control of Rome. And then they put Pope Stephen VI in place. So they're like running the country, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a complete transition of power.
Right. It was. But the problem is, even though Formosus is dead, his actions, because he was Pope, are still valid.
Because he essentially died a hero.
Exactly. So Arnulf is still emperor, not Lambert.
Oh, no. They needed a public smear campaign.
The church appointed positions that Formosus made, like whomever he put into archdeaconship, archbishopship, those all stayed standing because those were his decisions. And Formosus's political decisions are still recognized because he was still the fucking Pope, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And his like papal memos stood as church doctrine until it was countered by a new pope.
Yes. So the Spolitans need to erase Formosus. And the only way to do that was to prove he was never a legitimate pope. And that everything he did.
Open.
Yeah. So everything that he did disappears. They have to make that happen. They need a full power reset. It
never happened the way you think it happened.
It doesn't. They literally could have just quietly declared him invalid and issued a statement. They could have done that. Absolutely could have done that. But they needed a public spectacle, definitive judgment, and absolute symbolic humiliation. So, do you know what they did?
God told them to. I'm telling you.
They convened another synod, and they called this one, it's nicknamed the Synodus Horrenda, or the Cadaver Synod, yeah. So as long as Formosus was considered a legitimate pope, his decisions still shaped the world. So they actually put him on trial.
How did he answer? Was he an appointed attorney?
Well, to them, the body still represented the person. Judgment still matters after death. And the spiritual consequences of the time were very freaking real.
Okay, so they're basically acting as the underworld judges of Ma'at.
Oh, no, they were acting under the orders of that dickbag Pope Stephen VI.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But
yeah, the dickbag Pope.
How is this guy even going to defend himself? Why put him on trial?
Satchel of Richards, sorry, Pope Stephen VI. You're a Satchel of Richards. So under his orders, there was a state-sanctioned exhumation. And remember, he's a pope, so he was buried in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome.
Mm-hmm. The only other person that can bury you is the Pope.
Wrap your heads around this. They went into one of the holiest places in Christianity and pulled a former pope out of his motherfucking grave.
Some crazy shit right there. I'm sorry. Like, that sounds like insane. Like, there has to be like 50 things that I would think would
never be on a bingo card.
Like, I mean, wouldn't you get struck down by doing something like that?
It would be that. It would be that.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Are people struck down when they like go in and bring out like King Tutankhamun or Ramesses II?
I'm going by their own rules. Like, this is what I'm thinking about. I'm not talking about.
Thou shalt not rob graves.
This is what I'm thinking about.
Isn't that in there? Isn't that in there somewhere?
That would be something that would be a rule. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I think necromancy is frowned
dead
upon.
Bodies. Yeah, don't touch dead bodies. Period.
Traditionally, it is frowned upon. Yes,
but the basilica, the basilica is the holy of holies. You know.
I feel like that's also why Frankenstein was so popular, is because it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Well, it gets better.
This is already a bonfire, so like throw in a little more fuel.
I know. I'm going to throw on some fuel. They absolutely redressed this man in all of his papal vestments. So his robes, his adornments, all of it.
Did they also apply some makeup?
No, there was his rotting flesh. 7 to 9 months he's been decomposing.
Oh my god!
The worst part is they propped him up on a throne, like just to humiliate the shit out of him.
How did they prop up all of like? Okay, first of all, there's no muscle.
Falling flesh.
Yeah, honestly, how did they prop him up?
It's a solid question, and records vary.
Like, how the fuck did they get him to stay in that chair?
If you use your imagination, I'm sure it will not meet what actually happened, and we'll never know.
Can you imagine how tied he must have been to that, like duct tape to that chair.
Okay, so it's like, Ari, we're in the 890s. It's
they don't have duct tape, so it's rope.
Yeah, the cathedral was dim. Obviously, we've got candlelight. It's flickering. It's hot as shit in there, I'm sure. The clergy's gathered.
This literally the intro to a movie
decaying in front of people. They're not sure how old this corpse is, but it's presumed that he is 7 to 9 months dead. So he's like almost within a year of decaying.
That's insane shit, man.
It's a full freaking corpse in
this
full
Tim Burton got his shit right here.
Paper rush. I'll write a movie off of this. Papal robe, sitting up like he's alive. Super theatrical, disturbing, and very fucking intentional. Oh, this gets even better. He was actually appointed a deacon to speak for him on his behalf. Because obviously he couldn't speak.
He got a spirit guide.
But the deacon was a freaking Stephen VI supporter and appointed by him. So you know what the
So he was
you know.
a Saruman or what's the guy Grimald for King Theoden?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the charges, basically, Stephen VI would make accusations, and then demand answers from a corpse, and the deacon would, give half-ass answers.
I could see this playing out right now, like, do you deny it? And then Penny being really quiet and looking to the corpse. No, my lord, he does not.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably exactly what happened. The charges that they placed against him were exactly what John tried to do, illegally becoming the Pope.
Oh, well, this is why we have public jeopardy. Violating
canon law and ambition and unworthiness. Same from John VIII. But now they were actually weaponized because this trial it's a one-sided argument, right?
Yeah, obviously. Unless
it's a dead man on the stand.
Can speak to the dead, and he happens to actually translate. Side note, there are a lot of people that can speak with the dead, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think so too, but yes. Okay, yeah. But not in this trial. It was a ritual humiliation for the public.
Maybe not in the church.
Not justice.
Besides those.
Not justice, right?
There you go.
Okay, so the charges are read.
Okay.
And judge, jury, and executioner Stephen VI interrogated the corpse. Historical records show that the deacon does answer for Formosus, but it was absolutely not a real defense.
I want to know what
the outcome had already been decided before they even went on trial, and the deacon had absolutely no real power. So even if he said no, it wouldn't have mattered.
Honestly, though, can we not think of any other trials where the outcome was decided before the trial?
Right.
Lots of them. Lots of them. I did try to find how long this trial lasted, but there are no freaking records. So historians say most likely it was just one session or a day.
Yeah, how could it be? How could they literally stand the smell?
Right. I mean,
you're literally in there with a dead corpse.
You said, how can they stand the trial for a day? But how did they dig him up in the first place?
Also, can you imagine the bad juju that they're getting from digging up a dead pope?
It gets worse. It gets worse. He's obviously found guilty on all of these charges, right?
Burn him.
All counts. Yeah. No, they don't burn him. Actually, they strip him of his clothing right then and there, so his rotting flesh / corpse gets stripped.
Oh.
His fingers are cut off. More specifically, the 3 fingers they use for blessing. And then they desecrate his body. So it's mixed on the records. Some sources say that they drug him through the streets, and then some sources say that they dumped him in the Tiber River, but he did eventually end up in the Tiber River. They just chucked him over a bridge.
Can you imagine?
Nope.
The level of hatred
that's so crazy
that you would have to do that to something or someone that has already been dead
for 9 months.
Insane.
There are a few records that say some monks found his body and pulled him out of the river right away.
How is that insanity?
I don't know. But after the trial, here's what happens. Remember, this is a very public trial. The public, even though this is medieval times, right? Where I'm thinking like the chaos of it all, they were fucking outraged. They're like, this is disgusting. You desecrated a corpse. And they're very
on them, did it?
Yeah, they're very spiritual because everything is like what God says, Yeah,
because they've been said this stuff forever.
Yeah. So obviously stories and rumors start flying, and the public opinion of Pope Stephen VI shifts so fast. His political support weakens and chaos just shoots through the roof in Rome. He's immediately overthrown, removed from power, and imprisoned. And guess what happens to him in prison?
What?
Oh, no.
A couple of Formosus's followers
just remove 3 fingers.
They murk him in prison.
They strangled the shit out of him.
Oh. That's like Benny and the Mummy.
Yes.
Even the small little rat gets his comeuppance in the end.
Yes. And then so you have the church. They're basically out here like, man, I hate that guy. We need to fix this.
Look at our history is not making us look good. Let's
Exactly. That's exactly what they did. They're like, oh,
no,
shit.
they did not.
We need to fix
Why take
this.
accountability?
We need to fix this. So they overturned the Cadaver Synod, and the trial was declared invalid. Formosus was actually reinstated as a legitimate pope. His decisions were restored, and they did what they could to preserve his reputation. But at this point, like, he'd been put on trial, he had his fingers cut off, he was stripped naked, even though he was dead, even to a corpse. That's embarrassing, you know? So what kind of reputation is he going to have after that? But I just think about this, because this is a moment in history where power went so far.
Yeah.
They took power so far, they dug somebody up and put them on trial.
And for nothing, kind of, you know? I mean, or something, but like,
it's
they
a
didn't have to dig him up. Like,
No.
they literally didn't have to dig him up.
No, but power, politics, religion, they all collided into this one position, which he who must not be named holds today, and it's doing the same shit, you know? When I thought about it, I was like, this probably is happening today. This could happen tomorrow.
Did you not see our current president just sit in a Supreme Court oral hearing for the first time in history to quite literally try to intimidate the jury or the Supreme Court justices?
How'd that work out for him?
He walked out after 90 minutes because his Solicitor General could not answer questions up to the standards that the justices were throwing.
Oh, so they were lying and they didn't have their prefab lies really well.
I can't tell you one way or another. You should go read the transcripts because it's really entertaining.
Wow.
That's wild.
But I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, courts are sometimes just a show. And that was such an unstrategic move. And this to me is an example of an emotional reaction from a leader, because how it's not strategic. It doesn't solidify your power hold. All it does is make him a further martyr for the system. Right. It creates a rift in your support in your population that holds you in power. And it's because you're so angry and hurt that they went with him over you. Yeah.
It's literally a man that can't deal with his emotions.
The audacity.
I don't want to be that simple, but it's like, you couldn't just get over it.
Yeah, but the thing is, it wasn't just him. So the first pope couldn't stand him either, because he was a threat to their power. Yeah. Because people liked him, they didn't fear him, and the popes at that time, I'm guessing, were probably pretty fearful. Like, I mean, John VIII and Stephen VI sounded like, you know, a satchel of Richards. So.
You want to hear a conspiracy about when that repeated in the timeline? Is look up the JFK assassination conspiracies.
Oh, there's a lot of those. I absolutely believe. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe there is a conspiracy behind the Lincoln assassination and JFK's assassination. There are too many. I don't believe in coincidences. There are too many similarities between those two situations.
Yeah.
And all of the theories behind it. And also, magic bullet. Let's be real here. The man was shot like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Anywhoozle, since we're experts on assassinations these days.
Right, sorry. What a wild shit show of an episode. I'm sorry, but did you see that coming?
No, did not see that coming. I wonder how many times that has happened over the course of history.
A dead man on trial?
I feel like quite a few. A
dead man on trial that they actually dug up and put on display.
This feels like a repeated pattern.
It kind of does. And I want to go down a rabbit hole and find out if it is.
There are even trials of animals.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think this was a wild ride that you took us on, Nick.
You're welcome.
I was not expecting some of the like twists and turns that you took us on, but I mean, I think you said it very well, what power can do to people.
Oh gosh.
It's just, I've had a conversation with a few people, and the way I talk about power. They're like, power is not the end all. I'm like, it literally is the center of so much, like people's quest for power. It comes down to survival. It comes down to, a lot of it is fear-based, but once you get past like acquiring the power that you need to let go, like, do you ever let go of that fear? Because it seems like people continuously just want to acquire more and more and more power.
Here's a thought to that and a question.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was possible to shift power's definition away from money to something like contribution or impact or reception? So it's not accumulated through money, but rather what you do and how you interact within the world. Do you think that that would reduce the fear response?
Yeah, but the people
power
in charge would have to change that, shift. The people in power currently would have to shift that idea, and that is not
which is a whole right, because then you're talking about different economies.
So you're talking about an idealistic,
just a hypothetical. If you were
it'd be great. The getting there is the hard.
A Loki timeline appeared.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no money. So instead, power is actually who's the best person at navigating social good, or power is wielded in the hands of scientists and doctors and educators versus politicians type thing.
I mean, I constantly have a battle between power and influence, because I think they're connected, but one inherently has a level of domination in its power. Is, to me, and this is, what I think about when I think about power, there's an element of dominating within that. And so when I think about the good, and let me not even say the good, when I think about the things that you talked about, right? Advancing, creating, doing the things that are about creation and not destruction. I think about influence more so than power, but they are the kind of this, they're very interconnected.
Right?
So
like they're on the same spectrum.
But I think, to Nick's point, I think it is, an idealistic view, because you would have to get the people that are, quote, literally empowered.
100%, right? This is a Ray Bradbury type.
Totally. Well, thank you so much for this story and educating us. We encourage you to go down the rabbit hole. Last thoughts. What about you, Danny?
I will just say that hindsight is always 420, and let's not exhume people anymore, because they literally make movies on why this is a bad idea.
Facts. Nick, let us know.
There weren't a lot of people exhumed to be put on trial, but there were a lot of posthumous trials. And if you want to go down that rabbit hole, you absolutely should, because there was one in 2013. But other than that, stay classy, Rome.
She leaves you with that little nugget to follow. And we love it. Stay chronically curious. Thank you for joining us this time, and we'll see you next time. Peace.